Good evening to you all. Yesterday we discussed about horticulture. We thought about various types of horticulture, the horticulture, the pomology. Is only the floriculture aspect that we have not touched before our time elapsed. So today we are dealing with arable farming. Is that okay? Arable farming. Please, who can tell me what are arable crops? Please, one class. What are arable crops? What are arable crops? Yes? I said, what are arable crops? Who can try? I'm not asking of example. Definition of arable crops.
Can we ask from the female?
Female, if you can.
From the Lajina, what is arable crop? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
There are questions for you, Lajina in my lab.
Yes, sir.
Can you define arable crops?
They are fruit crops. Food.
They are food crops.
Yes, like efo. Now, vegetables like tomato, seed for paste, maize.
Okay, you really try. All definitions are correct. So, out of 10, you have gotten 6/10, which is pass mark, isn't it?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Arable crop is type of crop that we're rearing for yearly consumptions.
For yearly
consumption.
consumption.
That is it's made for just persistent farming only.
Although you tried, but that yearly consumption that you include, that will make you miss it. Arable crops can be stored for 5, 6, 7 years. Is that okay? I'm just asking you so that you get where I'm going. By definition, arable crops simply means those crops that complete their life cycle within a year. Is that okay? Within a year, when you plant them this year, you will harvest them this year, you will process them this year. They can be stored for 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, but within that year, from planting to harvesting is within a year. There are type of crops production that produce wide range of annual crops. This means that the crops life cycle from germination to seed production is complete within 1 year. Is that okay? Those are arable crops. Then we have different type of arable crops. Number one, we have grain crops. So somebody was mentioning maize. Maize is an arable crop. Is that okay? But the type is grain crop. Example of grain crops are what? Maize, millet, rice, guinea corn. They are under grain. Then we have pulse crops. Pulse crops. Example of pulse crops are what? Are legumes. Legumes. Example of legumes crop. Beans, bambara nut, soya beans, they are leguminous crops. So they classify them as pulse crops. Is that okay? Then we have oil seed crops. Oil seed crops that can complete their life cycle within a year. We mentioned soya bean, groundnut, sunflower. There are many like that. Is that okay? They are oil seed crops. Another type is forage crops. Those forage crops, they are for animal consumption. you plant your gamba grass. Gamba grass cannot stay more than a year. When you plant in the northern side, they plant gamba grass. They have gamba grass has seed. When you broadcast the seed, it will come out. Within 2, 3, 4 months, it will be harvested and stored for animal. Is that taken? Then we have tuber crops. Example of tuber crops are what? Yam. Cocoyam. Hello. Somebody mentioned cassava. Cassava is not a tuber crops. Example of tuber crops, we have cocoyam, we have potato. Then we have root crop. Another type, we have root crop. So example of root crop, now you mention cassava. Is that okay? There is difference between tuber crops and root crops. Let me define root crop. Tuber crops are those crops that have enlarged, they have what? They have underground enlarged stem. They have their own root separate. When you are digging your yam, you will see root of yam. Is that taken? Then you will see the stem being enlarged. That one is tuber crops. But in root crop, the root stored the food. They have enlarged root, like cassava. Cassava doesn't have any root than the produce. Is that taken? So that is the difference between root crop and tuber crop. When you go to any farm, when you see any plant that have enlarged stem and also have root, we call that one tuber crops. But the root, when you see any plant that any crop that has enlarged root, that one is root crops. Is that taken? So we have five farming practices to be considered before sowing seed or planting seedlings. Is that taken? We have 5 practices. We have many of them, but we have 5 important ones that to be considered before establishing your arable crops farm. You have to consider 5 steps. Is that taken? The first one is selection of appropriate crop variety. Selection of what? Appropriate. Selection of appropriate crop variety. When you want to select your seed, hello, one class. When you want to select your seed, you select those ones that are very good, those ones that are viable, those ones that can adapt with the climatic condition of that environment. Is that okay? So you have to select your very good seed so that you will not run into loss. 5 farm practices to be considered before sowing seed or planting seedlings in an arable crops. We said number 1, selection of appropriate crops variety. I've explained that one. Choosing earlier recommended date of sowing. Earlier recommended date of sowing. For example, now when you want to go into arable farming, you want to plant maize, you choose earlier recommended time. For example, first cropping, that is first maize, is around April, May. Is that okay? Then late farming is June, July, August. Is that okay? Now, you want to select your date of planting. You now went and plant since rain is still falling by September. Ojo si run am February by September. Before October, November, Ojo are done now. What will happen to your agbado? It will just die. Is that okay? But when you plant your maize, April, May, rain will fall. Certainly rain will fall April, May, June, July. It will start bringing out produce. Is that okay? It will start bringing out tazu. Then when you plant July, August, July rain will fall, August rain will fall, September rain will fall, October the rain will be preparing to stop. Your maize might have matured. Is that okay? So when you are planting anything, you choose a very good recommended date of planting. That is what is affecting farmer in Nigeria. They will just go and plant anyhow. They will be saying, "Kini yo da." Some people they will be saying, "It's one woman that angajumo kowi." Kini ya kini kan. Not that. No, it's not like that. It's because of date of planting. We that used to go to different farm, they will ask us to come and check their farm, and the thing is not producing very well. I will tell, when did you plant those things? They say, okay, I plant my this thing, this thing. What's supposed to be planted May? You say I planted it July. Somebody went and planted pepper atarodo July, August. And atarodo will stay on the ground for 3 months before it starts flowering, fruiting. Now you plant July, August, September, October tó ti mú àti flower yẹn òjò àkọ́dá ni ẹ wà ní kékeré kan. So you select recommended date of planting. You will get something. Is that taken? Then ensuring a well-prepared soil. Don't just go and plant anyhow. Is that taken? Don't just go and plant anyhow. When you want to plant maize, we all know that the best soil for maize is sandy, loam soil. Is that okay? Don't go and use clay soil or this and this and look for appropriate soil that you know it will be good for those your product. Is that okay? Then practicing soil analysis before sowing or planting. You know, I told you yesterday soil analysis. You take your soil sample to lab. They will do the analysis of the soil. They will not tell you this soil is good for this, is good for that, is good for this, so that you will not be wasting your money on fertilizer application and other things. Is that taken? Then we have regulating water. That is irrigation and drainage. No, drainage is the removal of excess water, while irrigation is supply of water. When you discover that maybe those people that are going for dry season farming, when you discover that there is a lot of water, dry season, you supply water. But during rainy season, sometimes rain will be falling every day, and it will cause water lodge. And maize doesn't like too much of water. It's not like rice. When too much of water, when maize is planted inside where it's lodged with water, the root system will be affected. Before you know it will now be giving you yellowish color. Is that okay? When you discover that you do drainage, you can do manual drainage or you can use manual drainage for small portion of land, or you use mechanical drainage. Manual drainage is a method is process of opening once where water is the channel, then the water will pass through the channel out. Is that okay? But this mechanical method is using pumping machine to draw out those things. Is that okay? So those are the 5 important factors that you need to consider before you go into arable farming. Now, from our experience and from our practical analysis and other things, we discovered that there are 2 arable farming that they are very profitable, because we are not just here to make ourselves to make ourselves laugh or to make fun. We are here to teach you what you will be doing that will fetch you real income. That is why I now say that's why I now bring out maize. Number 1, maize. Even the animals are competing with us for maize. Do you know how many poultry farms in Nigeria? I've been to a poultry farm that they have up to 15,000 layers, 20,000 layers. When you go to Ogun State or your state, and those things, 60% of feed composition is maize. We should not deceive ourselves. 60% of any feed composition use maize. Now, before animal will compete with the maize, and human being also, is maize that they are using to make semo. That is why, if not that they close border, they are still exporting maize to Nigeria. And what are we doing that we cannot produce enough maize? When you have 100 tons of maize today, all lamb there, they are ready to collect from you. They will be announcing that, please, we need somebody that needs so tons of maize. We need they will pay. Even before supplying, they have paid. Is that okay? So all those things that will look with levity, that will look with mere eyes, they are those things that can fetch you real money. Maize can be turned to different things. Animal will consume maize, human being will consume maize. So competition, it makes that to be short. So we are experiencing shortage. Then there are many technical methods of producing maize that you will not even labor yourself. Is that okay? Because what I will be telling you now is what I've passed through, the experiment I've conducted, and what I've gotten from the experiment. Is that okay? Now that is why I now choose maize and rice. Maize and what? And rice. No, rice now, they have stopped importation of rice, isn't it? So we now depend on our own locally made rice. And those rice now, they are not in essence. The supply is very low. So how can we do to improve the supply? Is that okay? So let's start from maize, then we'll do rice. We'll conclude for today. Maize. Maize. Who can tell me the mechanical name of maize? Zime. So maize is zime, and it belongs to the family of Mediae. Medea, that is the family of maize. Botanically known as Z-maize. Now, story. We have a lot of story in this textbook, in this note, but I will not be telling you those stories. Because maize in Nigeria, God so bless us that maize can grow anywhere. Even in other region, they produce maize. In certain region, they produce maize. But what can we use to induce the growth, the germination, the fruit, and all those things is what we need. We should not, let's forget about where it's being produced. But what are those things that you added to improve the yield is what we are after. Is that okay? So we don't need the history, where they came from, where they do this and this, and those one is history. You can read it in your handout. Is that okay? But what you need is climatic requirement, the rainfall, the temperature, and all those things that can make your maize to grow very well is what you need. Is that okay? Even the type of maize that is being grown in Nigeria, I have them in this textbook. Let me just summarize. We have, number one, we have dent maize. Dent maize, type of maize. Dent maize. Dent maize. Dent maize. The description, that dent maize is an hybrid maize with a very large seed like that. You will see the seed very large. Is that okay? And it's highly profitable. It can produce large scope. When you see those scope, they're very, very long like that, and the seed will be big. That type of maize is dent maize, according to description. Then we have flint maize. Flint maize. Flint, The reason why they call it flint maize. Flint maize, the reason, the flint maize, it has hard starchy content. Is that okay? You know, as you are seeing maize, they don't have the same carbohydrate content. As you are seeing maize, it has its own proteinous content. It has its own carbohydrate content. There is no carbohydrate that doesn't have protein. But when the carbohydrate is higher than the protein, we now say it's a carbohydrate, it's an energy-giving plant. It's carbohydrate. Is that okay? There is no any plant in this life that doesn't have its proteinous content, protein content, carbohydrate content. Is that okay? But when the carbohydrate content is higher, they will now classify it to be carbohydrate. Is that okay? Maize, it has its own proteinous content also. Is that okay? Even beans that you are seeing, it has its own carbohydrate content. That is why sometimes this akara that we are eating, the proteinous content of maize, beans has been removed. Only highest protein. You will see the goat going big. Is that okay? So we are now eating momo, which has less protein. Is that okay? That is why those people that just conduct the experiment, people eating ewa, beans, ordinary cooked beans, and people eating momo, put them in the same house, let them be eating it for 1 month. You will see the difference between, you will see the differences. Is that okay? Somebody eating ordinary ewa will be looking fresh and big because he's eating raw protein and carbohydrate together. But this one we have removed. That's why some people, if they want to do the akara, they will grind everything together. Have you not seen it? They will grind everything together. So that content that you remove is a proteinous content. Is that okay? So don't remove those content again. You are just feeding your cow, your goat with protein, and you want the carbohydrate. Is that okay? So when you want to do it, you make sure you do it together. Me, myself, I told my wife, whenever you want to cook akara for me, grind everything together. Papu. No, papu, you grind it together now. Even that fiber content, some people, they used to drink it together. Is the best. Is the best. Agbado, hello, one class. Agbado maize in our northern side, they will remove the epo. If they want to do tuwo, they will remove the epo. That epo, is that epo that we are using to formulate feed for our birds. Ordinary potato, So we are just feeding our animal with protein and we are eating the one that you call shaft is the one that is rich. The one that you call shaft is the one that is rich. Is that okay? So now you have known flint corn. It has the carbohydrate content is very high. Then we have soft corn. Those soft corn, when you see it, most of people going into all this salad, fried rice, they used to use those corn because you see them very soft and they have sweet taste. Then we have sweet corn also. Those sweet corn, they are very, very sweet. When you eat one, you will know that you eat something. They are very sweet, but their cobes is used to very small. Then we have popcorn. We all know popcorn now. Popcorn, very, very tiny corn like this. And is the most expensive out of all the corn. A cup of popcorn, they can sell it for you 100, 150, 200. Popcorn back. So very, very expensive. Is that okay? So if you can go into maize production, you will make a lot of money. Those are the summary of the type of maize. Then what you need now is temperature. The temperature requirement. Temperature requirement. Maize required 20 to 21 degrees C. 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 20 to 21 degrees Celsius. That is the temperature. That is temperature it needs to germinate. Is that okay? Then after germination, the growth stage. You know, we have germination stage, the growth stage, the maturing stage. Then before it now the big green starts, before the tasning stage, that tasning stage. On va to your one point the tasning stage. So maize need different temperature from one stage to another stage. Is that okay? Now germination stage. Only the 20 to 21 degrees Celsius of temperature. Then the growth stage now, only 28 to 35 degrees Celsius. That is the growth stage. Then the maximum temperature need before it now bring out that tassel is 45 to 47 degrees Celsius. Is that okay? Then water requirement. Water requirement, it requires 450 to 950 millimeter annual rainfall during growing stage. 450 to what? To 950 millimeter annual rainfall until maize need in its growing stage. Is that okay? So that is. Then we have soil requirement. I have told you that one. It needs sandy loam soil. Is that okay? Sandy loam soil. Now let me tell you one logic for my own experiment, because sometimes what is being written in the book, there are some research that have been conducted when they have not even given birth to my own father. Some people have written their own book. Is that okay? And some of those things are not more in vogue now. In the olden days, they don't have atrazine, atraphos, herbicide, all those things. They use manual method of weeding. Now you that have 20 hectares of land, how many more will it take you to weed with hand? So there are some simple methods that you can grow maize without stressing yourself, without disturbing yourself. Even you will be at home like this, resting, and your maize is there growing. Number one stage. When you cultivate your land, the first thing you do when you cultivate your land, you try and plant your maize immediately. You plant your maize immediately after cultivation of land. Then, as you have planted the maize, second day, before the maize start emerging, before the maize start germinating, you will now use atrazine. You know what is called atrazine? Atrazine is primogens herbicide. That atrazine, it will suppress other weeds from growing. It will suppress other weeds from growing. Is that okay? Then it will now maize any crops that belong to the family of maize will come out. Abi, okababa, yóò jáde, àgbàdo yóò jáde. But other seed will be suppressed, they will not come out. Is that okay? When you plant immediately, you spray with atrazine or atrafos. Atrazine is powder form, atrafos is liquid form. Is that okay? So after 2 to 3 days, or 3 to 4 days, your maize will start coming up. Is that okay? Your maize will start coming up, will start emerging, will start germinating. Then 2 weeks after planting, by then the maize must have reached this level. If your soil is very fertile, 2 weeks after planting, isn't it? Then the first fertilizer application that you apply the first fertilizer application, you apply NPK 15-15. NPK what? NPK 15-15. N stands for nitrogen, P stands for phosphorus, and K stands for phosphorus. You apply NPK 15-15. 2 weeks after planting, you apply NPK 15-15. Is that okay? In some area, they call it rice and beans. They call it rice and beans. You will see red color, white color, everything mixed together. So you use NPK 15-15. That is 2 weeks after planting. But when you are applying, you apply small. Small. At least 2 grams. Small like that. But you cannot carry scale to farm that you want to be using to measure something. You can use this Ragolis bottle, this Fri bottle. You measure it, not too full like that. You'll be putting it. And when you are putting it, this your stand, you will measure like 1 centimeter or 2 centimeter below the root, away from the plant. Then you apply. Is that okay? So now, that 2 weeks, you will not see, because you have used atrafos and atrazine, you will not see any weed at all. You will not see any weed at all. Your maize will be enjoying it free of weed. Is that okay? Before weed will start coming out small. Before weed will start coming out small. It will be more than a month. Is that okay? 6 weeks before you can now start seeing small weed. Is that okay? Now 6 to 8 weeks, you can now apply another fertilizer. 6 to 8 weeks, you can now apply urea. 46%. That one is very white like this. You apply urea fertilizer. Urea. 46%. Are we in the same boat? Urea fertilizer 46%. Then urea fertilizer. That 6 to 8 weeks. Until lobby 2 months in the year, you can now weed. And because that 2 months, total lobby 2 months in here, atigato by. Is that okay? Atigato by. Now let me tell you how chemical work. All those herbicides. Let me tell you how it works. Chemical. Whenever you spray and it doesn't touch the edge of plant, it will not kill that plant easily. Is that okay? Now your maize will grow up and your weed will be crawling. Is that okay? You can even use ordinary gramazone, all this wheat crusher, all this paraphos, all those things. You mix it, then you spray under. Kódà kó kan ìdí ẹ̀. Kó kan ìdí ẹ̀, kó kan gbogbo ẹ̀. Tí o bá ti kan òkè ẹ̀, kò ní pa. But there is another chemical we use, 2,4-D, but it's not too effective. In a place where weed that belong to the same family to maize, it will not kill them. And what is the essence of controlling weed? So me, if I want to advise my farmer, I will tell them what is sustainable. For example, now you have maize inside gamba grass weed. Gamba grass and the maize, they are of the same family. They are from Midday family. It will not kill gamba grass. What is the essence of wasting your 2,4-D? So instead of that, you use your ordinary gramazone. But what is that? You can spray, but don't allow it to touch the head of the maize. Is that okay? 2,4-D will kill maize, will kill plant wheat, but it will not kill maize. Is that okay? It will not kill maize. But the reason why we allow maize to grow up before spraying is because we don't want the chemical to touch the head of the maize. Is that okay? So after you spray that one, you don't need to weed again. Once maize start bringing out tassel, the tassel stage, the fruiting stage, weed cannot affect it again. Is that okay? If chemical touches the stem, tí o bá ti kan orí ẹ̀, you can just see yellow splashes on it. Tójò bá rọ̀, it will disappear again. Tójò bá rọ̀ gan, maize yẹn lè kú náà. Kódà kí òjò bá rọ̀ gan, hello, wait. Tí òjò bá rọ̀ gan, your maize can also die. If òjò bá rọ̀, you cannot plant maize where there is no water now. Is that okay? And beside again, the way you are measuring, if you want to use gramazone to control weed inside maize, the way you will not measure it like you want to control ordinary weed. You can use 100 ml to 20 liters of water. Kò ní lágbára àti pa plant, but yóò lágbára àti pa weed, because àwọn weed yẹn wọ́n sì kéré and they are crawling. Is that okay? So, but when you have a farm that is full of broad leaf, that is full of broad leaf. No, we have narrow leaf and a broad leaf. You can use 2,4-D. 2,4-D, you can even spray everything together with the maize. It will not kill maize, but it will kill your weed. Well, what you see, you can see yellow splashes on the leaf, but with time everything will wipe away. Is that okay? So that is that about maize. So I've told you the planting early maize, the planting date. Early maize is the planting date of maize. Early maize. We have early maize and the late maize. Is that okay? Hello? We have early maize and what? And late maize. Early maize and what? Late maize. Early maize is planted between April, May. Is that okay? Then late maize is July, August. Is that? And when you are planting maize August, your maize can only go when you plant it first week of August. First week of what? August. Don't plant maize second week of August. You plant it first week of August. You plant it July and first week of August. The reason why I say you should plant it July is there is always August break. Now August break is nowadays. August break is now in July now. Is that okay? So when you plant maize June, when you plant late maize June, and August maize now occur July, your maize can die. Is that okay? But when you plant it July and you now experience August break that July, you will just see it. It will not die easily because it is tender, but it will be crawling. But once rain start falling August, it will pick up. Is that okay? So when you want to plant, you plant early maize, April, May, then late maize, July, August. Is that okay? So I've told you the weeding, the manual method using hoe, then the chemical method using chemicals, and I've told you how to use chemical. You all know how to weed maize. If you are having your backyard maize, you don't need to be buying chemical again. You can just use it as an exercise, you and your children. So you just use hoe to weed your weed. Is that okay? So that is how it is. Now, harvesting of maize. Harvesting of maize. Maize can be harvested by mechanical method or hand method. Mechanical method or hand method. In mechanical method, you use harvester. There is an harvester. Is that harvester you will be operating it? Is that harvester that will operate the maize? That will cut the maize? Is that harvester that will remove the cob? Is that okay? There is what we call industrial one. It will do all the activities, like in advanced country like USA, that a single person will be having 50 hectares of land of rice, 100 hectares of land of rice. Just imagine 3% involved in agriculture in USA, and they are feeding and people are still collecting from them. Just 3%. If you want to go into agriculture, no, you go into agriculture. Not that I want to go into agriculture and you don't have up to 1 acre of land. Is that agriculture? agriculture that will affect the value chain. The value chain is what we call agriculture. All this one that we are practicing, we are just practicing subsistence agriculture. We eat and we sell some part to buy Maggi and Igu. If you want to go to real agriculture, you obtain hectares of land. The agriculture will now affect will not pass across the value chain. Even you will be in USA, they will be hearing your name. I know how many families in Ilorin here that even in an advanced country, they are hearing their name. Like in USA now, where one of our lecturers then went to do his PhD there. He said they took him to a farm. He said that farm, you will not know where the farm starts and you will not know when it ends. If they want to harvest their rice, they have that combined harvester. That combined harvester is one that will harvest it. Inside that combined harvester, it will push it to where it will boil it. It will push to it where it will discuss it. It will put it to where it will do everything. The only thing that people will be packing is bag of rice. It's the only thing that will be packing is bag of rice. They call it combined harvester. That their technology has advanced. Is that okay? So it makes everything to be very easy for them. So it will make everything to be what? Easy for them. So if you can adopt that system in Nigeria, we will not lack anything again. Is that okay? Now, harvesting. I have told you how to harvest it, isn't it? So then we have disease of maize. Disease of maize. Disease of maize. Disease of maize. We have seed rot. Disease of maize. We have seed rot. Seed rot. Seed rot. Seed yẹn àwọn kan máa jẹrà. Ẹ ti experience ẹ rí. Àgbàdo tí gbẹ ó dẹ̀ ti ń jẹrà nínú ẹ̀. So is seed rot. Is that okay? Then how can you treat it? You use resistant variety. You use resistant variety, or the seed that you want to plant, you treat it with chemical. That chemical is called Fanasan. Fanasan. The chemical is called Fanasan. You treat the seed with that chemical. You mix it before you plant it. See, understand? So that is Fanasan. Fanasan. Then we have another one. Root rot. Root rot. Root here, amajera. See, understand? They call it root rot. So how can you control it? To plant resistant variety. There are some varieties that are resistant to root. That's why if you want to buy maize, go to hybrid maize. Those that are maize that are resistant to all these diseases. Then we have bacterial wheat. Bacterial wheat. Bacterial wheat. You just the lining of the maize like this will be turning into. Let me tell you something. It's not every yellowish color in maize that is deficient of nitrogen. There are some. If bacterial wheat affect maize, you will see. No, this is maize. This is maize. This like this, leaf like this. You will see the middle like this. It will turn be yellow patches. They call it bacterial wheat. But if it is deficient of nitrogen, everything will be yellow. Is that taking all the leaf yellow? Then you cannot put nitrogen fertilizer. Then we have leaf spot. You will see the spot on top of the leaf, up and down. Those are the diseases of leaf. And the insect that attack maize, we have stem borer. You know stem borer? It will bore into the stem. It will suck the juice of the maize, and it will now prevent the maize from growing. Before you know, you will now experience what to call dieback. Dieback, it will just start dying from the up till it down. So when you discover stem borer or all this caterpillar infestation, everything, you just spray. You spray with chemical. Is that okay? Either you use Laraphos or you use Lambda, many chemicals like that can kill all those insects, or Cyperphos, it will kill them. So I've explained the harvesting, and because of our time, we are rushing over it. You will soon get the handout and read something that I've not explained. So that is that about maize. Is that okay? Now let me do small analysis for you about maize. Do you know expected yield per hectare? If necessary, if necessary management is being carried out, we have expected yield per hectare. Is that okay? Per hectare, the expected yield of maize per hectare is 5 to 7 tons. 5 to what? 5 to 7 tons. Hello, the expected yield of maize per hectare is 5 to 7 tons. Then let us do one analysis now. Now, a ton is how many kg? A ton is 1,000 kg. Like we that buy maize for feed formulation, a kg of maize now is 265 naira. A kg of maize now is I'm current in the market. I used to formulate feed for my best. A kg of maize now is 265 naira. But if you are buying in bulk, they can reduce 5 naira for you, 260. Now, let's say 265 naira times 1,000. 265,000. That is 1 ton. Then you are having 7 tons. Calculate it. 7 tons. That is 265 times 7. That is almost going to 2 million naira. And the money that you will spend in raising the money that you will use from clearing, cultivation, chemical application, everything is not up to 500,000. It's what I've done before. It's not up to 500,000. That is why if your farm is being managed very well, the gain is times 10. Is that okay? If your farm is being managed very well, the gain it gives return that is more than any other agricultural practices. Is that okay? Hectare. Expected yield is 5 to 7 tons. Expected yield in here, sometimes if they are being managed very well, some like this hybrid maize, if you follow rightful procedure in managing them, they can give 2 coups. Is that okay? So that is expected yield per hectare. Just imagine when you have 1 hectare of land, 1 hectare of land, that is 20 plots in a year, and you can be able to get like almost 2 million naira, and you have only spent 500,000 or 600,000 naira, even not up to that, because there are some farms that are virgin land. When you are opportunity to go to virgin land, you don't need to apply fertilizer, and the thing will do very well. Tell me which work, even a graduate, if you are employed now, here they say, especially in the state government, let me say in federal government, there are some that pay with level, some pay with compass, some pay with corners, and all, because I have them that are working there. Now, if they employ you now, let's say they give you 100,000 naira per month as a salary, as a fresh graduate to BSc, one for 100,000 naira per month, per 1 year. Not that 100,000 naira, addition of all this utility, house rent, every year, they will now divide everything. Then the outcome is your salary, monthly income. Now per year is 1.2 million naira. And someone that just owns only 1 hectare of land, getting 2.something million naira, who will be more richer? That is why Yoruba say Agbeloba. In 3 months, and you can do that 2 times in a year. 2 times in a year. So please, as rain is very soon, rain will start falling. Just take a practical step. Even though not up to 1 hectare of land, just you can do 1 acre of land, which is 8 plots. That 8 plots, no one knows that you will not get more than 600,000 or 700,000 naira. So you understand? So just take a practical step. Is that okay? So that is all about maize. So you have your handout, you will read other things about them. Wait. I will attend to only 3 questions. I will attend to 3 questions from men's side, 1 from female side. Let's start from female. Let's start from female. 3 questions. I'm closing by 6:30. 7. I'm going to correct it. Huh? Which one is correct? Okay, no problem.